Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you're at. We're coming in live to watch as Bitcoin might continue dropping. It already broken through 3,600, and just recently, about 3 minutes ago, it did another attempt and came down to 30,552. And a lot of people might have a question: is this is enough to actually get that pump? When I actually touched about 20 minutes ago, 30,584, it was still not enough. It bounced slightly back, and then it played a little, and as we can see, it's dropped again. I'm pretty sure we're gonna continue watching this as it continue going to drop. But as we watch this, I want to actually share something with you guys that was brought to my attention yesterday. So let's look at what actually happening, what I seen. I'm going to disable something so we can actually, on a weekly chart, we actually have this shoulder, this head, and the shoulder here on the right. But shoulder cannot exist without actually having the hips and legs. So as this pumped out and created a hip, shoulder, and a head, and right now we're having the shoulder, we need to also come down to create a hip and a leg. So possibility of us going down for the next couple of days or weeks, or maybe even during this run, is very high, and we might reach as low as 20,000 or even go as low as 12,000 before we have a chance of actually recovering, going back up. For most of the time, I was hoping that we actually will bounce from this area, but when I seen this, I knew right away that bouncing back from 30,000 is not most likely a reality. Even though how much I would love that to become a reality, unfortunately, if we don't drop down and we bounce back, we will have no choice but to come back and still come down to around 20 or 12,000. I'm not sure how I can support my feeling of the 8,000. Is just chart does not support it, but probably something might, maybe 12 is what I'm more feeling like, but I'm taking it more as an 8. I have no clue. I do apologize. I just cannot explain what exactly going on there. But let's go back to the chart and keep watching our 1 minute chart. As this 1 minute as this bounce is recovering, and because it's not bouncing back and just taking off like a spaceship going to the moon, we're just not going anywhere. It's just there's no energy, no volume. People are just tired to put money into something that's just dropping. So we continue seeing this continuous drop. Christian, I hope you're right. But where's the volume? Because without volume, we're not going anywhere. It's like the car with no gas. No matter how hard you push on that gas pedal, it's just going nowhere. And volume is actually the gas. And I just don't see any gas in the tank. I think people just don't want to put any more gas in their tank until they see a more reliable bottom, and 30,000 might not be the bottom that people willing to put more gas into the tank of Bitcoin. And as we all know, whatever the Bitcoin does, so will rest of the coins do. That just, I guess, what we have to put up with. The mother of all coins, Bitcoin, is just keeping everybody down. Hey Josh, how's it going? Yep, no more fight left in buyers. You're right. They're just not willing. They're just not willing to lose any more money. They're just saying, it's just enough is enough. We're not putting any more money on the table until we have some proven evidence that this is going somewhere. Hey, if I would be in their shoes, I wouldn't put anything else either. I'm not stupid, and I'm pretty sure the buyers are not stupid too. They're just waiting for that perfect time. At 28, let's see what happens at 28, Josh. I would love to see a bounce back at 28 because that would actually cancel out everything I just said, and we wouldn't have to go to the 18 and 12. So we'll see. So you're saying that DXY, what is DXY? DXY, that's a coin? Wrapped Ether on Uniswap. I'm not familiar, whatever that is. Yeah, but as you guys can see, we just rounded out the top, and most likely we'll start another. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. But even the sellers are just becoming weak as well. And we're what about 20 minutes away from Wall Street opening up? If I'm not mistaken, opens up at 9:30 New York times. So let's US dollar. Okay. Yes, true, my friend. No volume, no confidence in the market. Plus a grayscale and maybe two. See, on the grayscale, Christian, my question is very simple. When they're returning those money or releasing those money, I believe those money are being released in Bitcoin. Now, very simple question. If I got the money back, got my Bitcoin released back to me, and we see the market not stable, I'll be selling it, right? Isn't that's exactly what we're actually seeing right now? Is just the sale of those coins are being released. Oh, okay. So DXY is the US dollar index. Yes, I hear that actually goes opposite, but according to this morning, somebody mentioned in a group that both of them are dropping today. Um, US dollar in US dollar index. So I guess it goes US dollar index against Bitcoin. So let's see. I'll add it chart. Let's see what it does today. On a minute chart is dropping. On a 15-minute chart, we have dropped as well. So US dollar index against Bitcoin is dropping as well. So I guess it's just a lot people losing confidence in everything. They're just letting it go. But I think it's what we're experiencing right now might actually be related to those money being released, and people are just trying to sell it off the Bitcoin. Again, I did not research was that really being returned in Bitcoin or not, but I would guess it'd be returning in Bitcoin. The third pump of a drop just was weak as well. Even the drops are having no volume. Jeez. Guys, we might be getting stuck at 30,700. I don't know. If you guys don't mind sitting with me and watching, I have no problem. We can do this live. I would like to actually see some change in reality of it going somewhere. Been sitting and watching this since yesterday, 2 o'clock afternoon. Haven't even slept yet. But of course, as I was watching, I watched 3 movies in that span time because it's kind of hard to just to keep on watching the screen, not do anything else. So let's continue watching the reality. We have broken down the trend that Tom had the line on his phone. We came up yesterday to the top, slowly broke down, then came back to the top, and today we just broke through. I'm not sure why it's not transferring this tunnel line from a daily chart onto a 50-minute chart and a 1 minute chart correctly. But if you look at the, let's open this daily chart. When I open it, oh, that's the wrong one, I guess. Yes, the wrong one. But as we open the daily chart, we have not broken out of this trend tunnel. To break out of it, we would need to come down to about 3,200, and we have not got that far yet. So we still have a little to work, and I personally believe if you can get enough of energy and volume, we might actually break through, but we might have to wait for another 14 more minutes to see what United States stock market will decide to do. So patience. If I had patience to sit in front of this thing for the last 19 hours, I guess I'll have a little bit more patience to sit for the next 30 more minutes to see where it's gonna go. There's also a possibility we might actually get an upside down head and shoulders from here, which problem is we do not have a shoulder here on the left side, so probably not going to be a real confirmed head and shoulder. But I want you guys actually to pay attention to look at this creation of candles that we actually seen today, or the yesterday as it was building out. This kind of like a tail back, two horns, and a kind of like a drop jaw. Then as we further look to the right, it actually repeats itself, but right now with a double jaw. It also reminds me, this one right here on the left also reminds me also from some kind of a movie in an animal. Some kind of weird animal. I don't know, from some weird movie, alien movie probably, I don't know. And then it actually comes back, repeats it twice again. I actually talked with the guys in the chat and they said whenever they see this right here, it's usually very common that we'll have a drop. And I guess they were right. Because look at that. Came back, build it again, and then it just looked like it just went. Hey, US dollar index against Bitcoin. I'm not sure if I'm looking at the right one, but it's dumping as well. Josh, so Christian Josh, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how to respond, but that is something that somebody mentioned in the chat today that this is a weird drop because US index dollar dropped as well as Bitcoin dropped. Does anybody know what that's supposed to mean? Why both of them have dropped? It could be actually nice to understand that and share with you guys. So if anybody knows, definitely put that in the comments and let's see. Let's go back. Um, we have came back to the 50-day average line. So from here, either we're going to bounce back again or we're gonna just give up and start recovery. Usually it's one of the two happens when it pulls back 50-day average. Hey guys, it's coming, but there's no volume. With no volume, I'm not sure if it can do anything. Buyers not doing anything, sellers not doing anything either. Let's see what's the 1 minute volume. So the previous minute, 1 minute volume was 30,398 million. Oh, I'm sorry, 30,350,000. Then the minute that just closed, we slightly increased in the volume by $5 million more, 35 million. If we keep on increasing by 5 million every minute, then yeah, it might actually have some potential. We've all been waiting for this drop, but this drop is just behaving differently. Doesn't not behaving the way that usually we want it to behave. We want it to spring up. I'm checking now if we have anything Tom is saying. Tom has not created a video yet. Um, Do not know what to say. I would love to tell you guys we're going to the moon. I even rehearsed it in my head. We are flying right by the planet Earth. Everybody hop on who wants to go to the moon. We're going to the moon. But are we going to the moon? That's the big question. Because the spaceship of Bitcoin doesn't know where to go. I guess probably we'll have to go, like I mentioned on that weekly chart. Maybe go to the 20, I don't know, before we go to the moon. A question: do you guys want to continue watching live, or you guys want me just to end the broadcast? I appreciate if you guys could respond in the comment section. I guess no response. So I guess I'll ask another question. Are you guys ready if it starts pumping to hop in and take a ride? Have you guys put together a plan of action? What you guys are buying? What you guys are getting? So we're about 6 minutes away from 9:30 New York time. So what time New York Stock Exchange open? Yeah, like I thought, it's 9:30 to 4. So we have 5 more minutes to opening. Be interesting to see if there will be any impact, or the impact that we already seen is that all we'll get today. If you won't get a miracle, a volume, a fuel, we are not bouncing to the top. Which, my personal opinion, we will continue driving this bottom half of this trend tunnel until we break through it to the bottom. As already mentioned in the previous video, and let me turn this back on. No, the wrong one. Wrong one. We are, tomorrow is a day of trend change. So we might run for the next 15 to 20 days heading south, and probably, heavier run, something similar to this. So that's possibly, with that little a volume, there is no going up. That means there are only one possibility, that is going down. Because As I mentioned before, as I always like to say, when you toss something into the air, as long as soon as the momentum and the energy of that toss comes to zero, you have a split tiny of a second where that item kind of stays still in the air, and then it starts developing a return pattern of gravity taking its force. So with no volume, gravity will have to do its force, pull it to the bottom. I don't know in any other way how to explain it other than gravity to do what it always does until that force, that energy comes back and starts taking it somewhere again. By the way, don't forget to subscribe and like. Um, I am new to the YouTube, so it would be nice to actually, get this channel growing. So support is definitely a huge plus for me. So appreciate it if you guys like the video. Kind of wondering what will it do with this? Is this going to round up or is it going to just round down? Because right here we had a small W and that W that got that push. So right now we're trying to see if there's a new pattern that after the W that is building. Volume has came up from 7, from 10, 6.8 million, 8.7 million, 7.8 million, and then we jumped up a little bit to 13.9 million. So I guess volume is starting to build up again, and that is what we need to continue the fall. And we are possibly getting that volume already at 25, 26. Those of you that do not know where I'm looking at, I'm looking at the numbers right here as I hold it on that candle, 28 million. So volume is growing, 30 million. We close the candle at 30 million. Looks like we do have some buyers that like, oh, it's the bottom. It's the bottom of all bottom. We're jumping on the wagon. I wish I could speak to those that are jumping on the wagon. Let them know they should be selling, not buying. That when they log in a week, in a couple of days later onto their account, they'll see their amount decreased by at least 10 to 20%. But the real truth is, I will never know them. Whoever just jumped on and will lose their money. Of course, if they are hogglers and they'll hold on to them, then when we recover, they'll be good because eventually we'll get at least to 60, probably 120,000. So they'll four times their money. So maybe it was not so bad as long as they hold on through all the pain of this roller coaster ride. We are 3 minutes into the New York market opened, and looks like New York market will continuing to give us the volume we need to push it further down. Hopefully, it'll be enough. The volume they're giving us will actually make some difference and set the new low for the week. Or I guess we already did set the new low for the week. Right now we need to set the new low for this drop. Yeah, volume has increased. The last candle we closed at 30 million. So definitely a big change from 6 million to 30 million. But we do need around 114 million is what the last candle was that made this push. So we need somewhere over 100 million to 300 million, somewhere in that range, to continue pushing down. And we are lacking of that. We're not getting enough of that volume. To be honest, I'll sit another 10 minutes. If New York won't help us push through, then I guess this might be a long, long story. We might have to wait through the day and see what happens throughout the day. Honestly, I probably will be going to sleep, set the alarm. These guys already have seen I did set the alarm just in case I do fall asleep in front of the monitor, then at least I won't miss of any sudden movements. When all this thing resolve itself in either direction, I will take a day off, go do some fishing, or probably not the whole day fishing, just a half day fishing. When I come back and market kind of be easier to see where it heads, I'll probably start doing some live trades, and you guys will be welcome to join and trade with me. Um, is this thing going to have do some moving to the side? I usually like to come in and then trade, get in on the top, ride it to the bottom, sell it at about 70% for the bottom, just in case we don't reach the bottom. Then as it comes down and start reversing, buy it again, run it to the top, sell it somewhere past 50%, 7% run. So the most kind of easiest trade as long as it keeps moving to the side. If we're creating clear um, images of head and shoulders, I like to then jump in at shoulder, right shoulder height, and run it to the bottom. Those are also nice, sometimes nice possibilities of making money. I am considering down the road actually testing a theory as we come up and we start running this, jump in at possibly high, s- s- put a stop loss just right above the highest candle, and short it down through the shoulder and as far as it goes. And just in case I misread and that turns out to be a shoulder, it will stop loss us out. And then, when we get to that head, then we try it again. At least, in that case, we have a small loss compared to getting in at the shoulder and then it reverses and you have a stop loss all the way out here. Um, so I will be doing some experiments and seeing what will be success rate. I do understand some people say not trading is also considered as a good trade, but also sitting on the sideline doing nothing when you have very clear indications of where to get in and where to get out. It's also leaving money on the table. So, um, and, it's smart to stay out of a trade when, like, the last couple of days, it just was hard to predict what's happening. So it's smart to stay out of trades in those days. But when, things are, you can predict a couple hours in advance what's going to happen, might as well take advantage of those. So what's happening? We did create a kind of a weird shoulder, head, shoulder, came down, and kind of nothing happened. I'm pretty sure if you went into the second chart, we probably see another shoulder, head, and right now the shoulder came down. Volume is down again to 8 million per minute. We finished the candle off at 14 million. Oh wow. Looks like we might get another pump. We're already at 23 million and 56 million. 22 seconds to go. 60 million. 65 million. We finished that off at 72 million. Was that a new? Yeah, we went slightly lower this time than the previous time of the previous. So we are slowly at $10, $20 creating new lows. I don't know if that's much of a difference. Does $20 make a difference? But I guess maybe it was worth the 40 minutes to see the new low. $20 lower than the previous. Guys, I do apologize. I am definitely sleepy. And just saying random stuff. Looks like we have 4 people watching. As long as you guys keep on watching, I'll keep on streaming. I'm most likely probably gonna stay quiet. There's not much I can say. Whatever I can say, you guys can see on the monitor. There is not much to say. But I am noticing something. Remember I mentioned about this guy here with his dropped jaw? It almost looks like that same guy is being built out here. If that is correct, we most likely will be having another drop. Yeah, this one was built out on a 15-minute chart, so each candle is 15 minutes. This is a 1-minute chart, so we'll see. Now, since we already got a couple candles here, it's still not enough, but we will try to use it as it is. Honestly, probably this would be more of a trend, but let's see if it can keep up this trend right here. Because if it can keep up this trend and travel under this trend line, then we at least will have established line under which it will continue traveling down. And if it breaks through it, most likely you run out of energy and you'll start going sideways or slowly recovering back up to 31,000 area. As you guys can see, so far it's just bouncing away from that line. If that line continues to be a strong resistance, and we need to hit the 30,200 as Tom mentioned, that means we will be able to achieve that by 11 o'clock. That's in another hour. As long as it continues traveling down by this, under that trend line. Seems like we having pressure from the trend, that new trend line that I created, and then also the pressure from the support. And earlier or later, we'll have to make a choice. Either it's gonna have to break through, or through one of these, because you won't have a room where to go in otherwise. Hey Jeremy, how's it going? Oh, we're watching live as Bitcoin trying to set new lows. We had a nice drop from 31,200 to 30,586. Then we kind of had another low. Then we set a $20 lower than this one, and this one right here. So that's about it. We're having no volume, literally almost whatsoever. You can watch the number right here as I scroll through it. Every single drop, as we can go from the left. This one had 220,000, 220 million. This one 278 million, 114 million, 72 million, and these two guys right here were 26 million. The next one was beside it was 16 million. So there's just no volume. Like I said it already in this video before you came on. It's like a car. If you have no gas in a car, no matter how hard you push on that gas pedal, you're just going nowhere. Same thing here. If we have no volume is a gas. If we don't have gas in this Bitcoin vehicle, it's just not going anywhere. As I like to say, when you throw a ball into the air, the momentum raises the ball. At a certain point, momentum ends, and the ball has that split second of staying still in the air. And then the gravity kicks in and start doing its force. With no volume, the gravity is the only thing that will keep on pulling it down but that might be a very, very long road. And I just showed you, there's just no volume. They're just, we need, we need these kind of bars. But here they are. That's that's about it. No volume, no good. Oh, we just broke through that new trend line that I created. And that could be a confirmation we are done pushing down, or could be that the trend line that I created was not accurately set. So let's readjust it. But where I did had it, it was nicely, these candles right here were nicely pushing against it and holding. So let's see. Do I need to readjust or not? I appreciate it. God love. I'm trying to be the best. There's no point being on the YouTube if you're not trying to be the best. If you're an average, I don't know. Everybody's trying something, right? My goal is actually to figure this crypto trading out because I'm not interested in being an investor in the crypto because I'm not sure in the long term where it all will end up. Government regulations, no regulations is just not very reliable. Share with you guys a story while we're kind of watching this. A couple of weeks ago, actually, a couple of weeks ago, was actually a day before my birthday. A friend calls up and he says, "Hey, I have a business idea, and the business idea already proven to work because it works for someone else." But my simple question was, do you have the whole business plan, or you just have an idea and then there's a secret sauce that you do not know about? But he's like 100% convinced, oh, this can bring millions. So he's trying to, so at the end of the day, he was trying to sell that idea to me for 130,000. And I said, no, I got actually even pissed off that he's trying to sell me something that he doesn't even convinced that all the secret ingredients is there. So I kind of was thinking, so that ruined my birthday because I did not suspect something like that from a friend. So that kind of started me thinking about some business deals and etc. that actually was in my life, and I realized I have never ever have I bought a business idea. Never ever have I bought a business plan. If I ever purchased anything or invested into anything, it was always into the words and promise of a person that actually was saying. So end of the day, I was not buying the idea, I was not buying the plan, I was actually buying his promise of deliverance of whatever he was selling. I don't like to work with salespeople because they usually sell and jump out of the picture, and now you're kind of stuck with the third party that kind of don't have a lot of requirements to fulfill anything unless it's very well written on a investor side of a contract. But I have, well, came across a couple times where the owner of a company would actually try to sell his idea. And as I was thinking, I'm like, I never bought an idea. I bought a promise of that person to deliver something. So recently I called back and I talked with my friends and I said, hey, I'm not a shark that's on the TV buying ideas and etc. I am a person that never bought any ideas. I bought promises. And you want me to buy this idea, that means you need to be included in the package and you need to actually give me a promise that you're bringing that idea with all ingredients necessary to success. So we'll see how it goes. But before I proceed with any ideas of any movement forward, definitely first I will have actually, have a business deal that need to be first resolved with him. So waiting on getting that result first. So yeah, if you want to be smart with your money, don't buy ideas because I can sell you a lot of ideas, but you need to work. But you want to buy either really fully functioning business or a business that you for sure know you can actually do results. But investing like in Microsoft or any other company, hey, they're here today. Tomorrow they might go belly up. There's so many things come into play when it comes down to investment. So that's why I prefer not to invest. I prefer to trade because at least when you trade, you got in, you got out, and if you have to, you can convert it into a dollar and take it to your bank. With an investment, sometimes you can get in and might be hard to get out. With the stock market, you can get in and get out anytime, but sometimes when you invest in somebody's business, you got in, and the terms of agreement was you cannot get out for X period of time. Let's look at this picture. We're definitely traveling now at the bottom, going sideways, which is normal with the volume that we have. As you guys can see, the first time when we sprung out, we jumped up. We repeated the second time. For the third time when we sprang out, we kind of right now trading sideways, which means there is no helium in this balloon. There is no buying power in Bitcoin. We look like we can be, yeah. You guys don't say, oh, but there's a green candle. So what? It might go up to here, maybe here. It will come back down again. That candle has $58 million worth of trades in 1 minute. But the next candle right behind it is trading right now at 50 million. Do understand we have 20 minutes, 20 seconds to go. And I'm estimating it's closing somewhere at 20, probably 21. 21. So it closed at 22 million. Welcome, Jeremy. Thank you, God's love. Yeah, so as we did came back to that 50-day average, I believe that's a 50. Let's look up. Yeah, 50 EMA blue. So we came up to the 50 EMA, and as we did earlier, which is normal, and we're probably gonna continue down. I am noticing somebody hops in, somebody else hops off. We are averaging about 3, 4 viewers throughout this video. If you guys want to continue, if you guys want me to continue running this live, please say something in the comment. Otherwise, we're already an hour running this live, and I'm not sure if it's wise to continue unless some of you might not have access to tools like TradingView and or like just watch this together. Yeah, I'll share something else with you guys while I have you guys here online. If you want to be a businessman, you need to get used to making decisions regularly every day. And end of the day, you'll realize that every decision you make, you're actually putting your company at some level at risk. It's like gambling, but gambling with your company. And I'll explain why. The last company that I ran as a CEO of the company that took it from 20,000 a month of income to a value of $4 million. It was actually a company where we fixed electronic like computers, laptop projectors, and set printers. Then we would sell them on eBay and Amazon. And since you are working with someone else's platform for selling product, like eBay and Amazon, they have certain rules and requirements that they require you to follow. And they're not the most favorite towards sellers either, because end of the day is customer is always right. So a lot of times when decisions have to be made based on a return or based on any given business decision, you're always making that decision based on those rules and possible new rules that might actually they develop, and we will have to readjust ourselves. And very simple thing that actually can take that kind of a business out of a business is you get in a fight with a customer based on the return because they've been very unfair. Example is you sold a $400 item, and inside in that, let's say a projector, inside of that projector there's a DMD chip that's worth $200. You get that item back, and turns out to be I have to actually and turns out to be they actually opened that projector, pulled out of your good DMD chip out, put their old DMD chip in, and then as they were reassembling the projector, they didn't just actually at least when they put a chip in put it correctly. They actually even put it in incorrectly, their bad chip. But then the worst part of it all, they actually broke the circuit board So when we receive the item back and try to plug it in, it wouldn't work. So we wouldn't actually truly consider that something else is wrong and never even notice that the chip was removed. Now, with a situation like that, you can take the person to small claim court, but is it worth it? Especially when the person is somewhere in, let's say, in Texas. But the second thing is, you start a fight with a person like that, he can actually go and start saying bad things about the company in firms, and if it's get to enough of people, you literally start losing clients and start going out of business. Now, there are certain things he can actually, do to Amazon and eBay, saying certain things that actually Amazon and eBay can say we no longer can sell on their platform. So it was always kind of a dilemma when you're working with clients. You have $3 to $4 million worth of merchandise on a shelf, and you're constantly under the fear that if you're not going to make the right decision with those customers, you might get stuck with millions of dollars of merchandise on the shelf, and you have no way to actually get rid of it, to sell it off. And that is just in one example that is, but and those examples can just continue and continue, various different ones that happens in the retail world. So owning a business, it's not just trading crypto or stock or anything else that you're gambling, you're risking. In the business world, it's the same thing. Jeremy, until we come down to 30,200, I would like to see its reaction. But if it's gonna be this dead with this much of little volume at 30,200, we will continue going down. There is no bouncing back. There is no bouncing without the increase in volume. And I'm hoping the volume will increase on the buyer side by reaching 30,200. But at the same time, if we don't have volume now, why should we have volume then? Now, when we come down to 28, there might be a possibility of a volume. But as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, looking at this hip, shoulder, head, this big shoulder, and this is a pattern that has to come to the end and get fulfilled. So, looks like our destiny, unless a miracle happens, is actually 20,000 at least. And it might be 12,000. So, Jeremy, I do not want to lie to you. No matter how much I would love to go to 120,000, so I can multiply my money by 3, 5, 7 times. I can multiply my client money by 3, 5 times. End of the day, destiny says 20,000, maybe 12,000. I am not going to lie to you, but that's what the charts sometimes say. Daniel was here. Hello, hello, Daniel. Hey, you always can go back and watch the video. Um, some of those videos have a lot of those that says update. I wouldn't spend too much because they're more related toward that specific time. but some other videos have some good information, especially what I hear from people that are watching it. I have also put together some playlists. I will do video explaining playlists. And if you guys are struggling making money and seems like you came here to make money, but in exchange you're losing money, those playlists will help out big time. Right now, there's three playlists. Name one of the words in those playlists are training. Um, Start the one with that ends with miscellaneous. Those will kind of help you understand the basics, some of the patterns and stuff like that. Again, those videos are not perfect, but they are helpful. Then there is second playlist that ends with start training, but it ends with TR, I believe. Um, Start with the video one and work your way up or down, whichever direction it is. I'm still not able to figure out, maybe because I'm the creator, so it shows me from the bottom up. But people say that video one is on the top. That video will actually, if you start with those videos, but they're roughly about an hour each, and there's about 10 of them in there already, and I'll be adding more of them. Those videos will explain why 99% of the traders fail, why 90% of the traders burn through their money within the first couple of months and go home failing and never coming back. So also he kind of shows some kind of tips how to be have a better chance at success. Who's behind all this and what their interest is, and how to actually be a little bit smarter than the majority traders are and have a better chance at actually succeeding. So that's a big that's re- those videos revealed a completely new world to me, a world that I did not know that it actually exists. I suspected it, but not to that extent. Jeremy, I'll be straightforward and honest. And I hope earlier or later, Tom will be honest with his crowd as well. We all waiting in for that buy-in. If you can afford to wait, and you might have to wait for a couple of months, and that's the part that people are not talking about. That wait might end up staying as long as till September, October, maybe November. If you can afford to wait that long, then sure. But I have came across some traders that cannot afford to wait. That they need to make money today. They cannot afford to wait until it bounces. So then they can sell it and cash out part of his money and buy food for their family. So if you can afford to wait, fantastic. One thing I'll tell you, you're not a trader, you're an investor. Um, you're almost a trader because you're looking for that dump to get in, take the pump, sell it again, wait for the drop, get in. I understand, but you're more of an investor than a trader. Trader is somebody that actually gets in, gets out, gets in, gets out on daily or weekly basis. Traders are those that actually bring you money in daily and they cash out certain amount every single month because part of that is their living income. So not sure what category you fill in. You're the only person can answer that question. But if you're willing to wait that long, you're definitely an investor. Seems like we got down to 2 viewers. Nothing much happening. We did set another low at 30,486 roughly about, which means we have broken through all the last previous lows beside this candle right here. And to break through that candle, it will take us, will have to take us through 28,000, roughly about 750 or so. And it's going to be quite a journey, and might take a couple days as well. Um, but looks like we are constantly, slowly keep on pushing, and that's a good sign, because as long as we can keep on pushing, we eventually might come to that to that place where we can get springed out. Trading sounds good. Don't have time to be waiting on someone to say bye now. Hey Daniel, I'm in the same boat. I trade for myself. I also trade for a client, and I cannot afford to sit and wait either. I have to trade, and so I can take my percentage cut from my client's earnings and put food on the table. So, like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I will be doing live trades uh, near in the near future, possibly maybe even starting towards the end of this week. I do want to take half a day break and get out to the lake and do some fishing. Just gonna relax, step away from all this. Wow, we just broke another. Oh, come on. So as soon as this thing kind of starts showing where it's going, I want to take half a day away, and then after that I'll be coming back. I'll be doing some training videos on getting people ready for that their mentality for trading, um, and kind of trade together with you guys. Help those that need to trade regularly. Help you guys put something in your pocket. That's just the bottom line. Just we work together, we make together. That's about all it takes in the beginning, and then see where it takes us. Let's look at that candle. That candle, $174 million. We need more of those. If we can look at that spring out, the 170 million does. It pushed through, pull back. So if we take what we just seen right now here on this candle, and then let's say we want to go to 40,000, we would need on a minute scale probably half a billion in volume. That might actually would push us actually through all this and actually pull us probably into 40,000 for Bitcoin. But this one had a nice push back, but it's only just went this far. Not much far. I appreciate it, Daniel, and I keep subscribe if you have not subscribed. Help me out by liking the videos that you think has good value in them, and definitely looking forward to trading. But I'll be picking out. I'm not gonna trade every day. I'm gonna pick the days and the times that it actually has highest potential with the minimum risk, and go with that. Because bottom line, if you can be smart enough to reduce your risk and reduce the losing trades and increasing the taking home trades. Perfect. Then that's all we're after. If I'm probably gonna bring us to the end, so when I'll see something more serious or something worth sharing, I'll definitely will do that. But I think it's just slowly gonna continue pushing down on a 50 minutes candle. You guys can see it's kind of we got this kind of like a sword type candle. It still has 5 minutes, but if it closes at that, this might be the end of the push. This candle right here looks like a spinning candle. It's an indication of continuation. Um, this candle right here pushes down. Down, that means it hasn't that big tail at the top, which also showed us, that it going to continue pushing down, where this one's continue pushing up. That's why we kind of got that tail. Um, Here's the support resistance, which usually we would have had another this type of candle here, but it decided to continue pushing. So sometimes those candles do have a meaning, but they just don't follow the book. Yeah. So, but this candle right here in 4 minutes can stop the continuation towards the bottom for at least for a short period of time. We're still continuing going down. As you guys can see, we have traveled for almost a week now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So for 7 days, we've been traveling the lower half of the trend band. So, like I predicted yesterday, that it's going to continue down, and kind of there was a possibility going up, and I said there's a possibility, but also had that that strong possibility going down, and we are going down. Um, as I mentioned in an earlier video, that we are going to be moving into a new trend period, but based on what I'm seeing today, and as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, you guys might want to go back and watch the beginning of the video, but in this new trend section, I'm suspecting a rundown, something similar to something like this, and that will last from the 21st to the 1st, so it will last about 10-12 days. So yeah, I'm suspecting possibly continuation down to that 24, 22, 20,000, where finishing off finishing out this run and finding that perfect spring out that will actually push us up. Because when we reach that perfect spot, and we earlier or later we will, it's not will we will reach it, and it will push. And when it push, it will probably push us into 90,000 to 100,000 in Bitcoin. Will we have that small push that Tom is looking for to 40,000? That part I do not know. I don't see any indication with this volume. I don't see any indication that we will have that push to 40,000 that Tom talking about with the 48,000. That small push. I just don't. I'll be honest. I maybe seen it a week ago, week and a half ago, when we were running a little bit higher volumes. Right here, I would have said, yeah, there's a possibility. But right now, with this small volume, I just don't see it. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I just don't see how we can push. And I think it's just we are got to the point where buyers are realizing that they're just throwing money and trash. So they'll be pulling. They're starting pulling back, and the coin start getting heavy and start dropping to that spot until we find that spot where buyers will all say, you know what, right now we're in the perfect spot. Do I agree that it's going to be at 28,000? Well, let's look at the 28,000. Not much of a resistance. There's more resistance right here at 24,000 than there is at 28,000. So don't see it too. Can it happen? Yeah, definitely can. But do I see it? I just don't. 28,000, I don't see it. There's more. There's more possibility at 24, but the real possibility is at 20. That's where if we fall through 20, then it's between 8 and 12,000. But I'm suspecting 20 is going to be that spring. I don't know how big that spring will be, but that will be that spring that should push us out. But earlier than 20, very small chance at 24. But earlier than 20, I'm very small chance. Okay, subscribe and get that bell on. I am busy with other work, but will try to be here as much as I can. Thank you, Daniel. If you missed the lives, always they're available to rewatch them. So this is probably the longest video that I have ever created so far. And Jeremy, you are welcome. I'm trying my best. And I appreciate you guys are seeing value in it, because that encourages me that I'm not wasting my time. Because you guys know, with 80 subscribers, YouTube's not paying me anything, and they're not going to pay me anything until I get to at least 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watched hours, and then I have to get approved to even get paid. So I'm doing this just to share what I see, what I learned in my life, what I developed, and hopefully you guys can enjoy it and it benefits you. When we go back and people live for 500 years, 800 years, can you imagine the amount of knowledge they would develop? Now our average of the life cycle is 60, 80 years. So I would love all that I have in my mind is to pass it on to you and to pass it on to that new generation, because the mistakes I had to go through, hopefully they will have a chance to avoid. I just simply that. I bless every single one of you, and I wish every single one of you success in trading in crypto and investment, or what any other trading or investment you're doing. And to all of your guys' success, till the next time.